Okay, this is probably what is considered the hardest lesson of this chapter, 10.5. And we're basically working with formulas. And if you can recognize shapes, plug in numbers to formulas, and solve, you will do well. These are different formulas than what you've seen before. We're going to look at surface area. And so we want to look at surface area of prisms. That's basically a 3D like a box or something like that. We'll have some shapes here in a second that we'll look at. But for the surface area prism, our formula is this. Surface area equals 2 times capital B plus capital P times H. Now let's talk about these. Capital B means area of the base. Area of the base. Okay? Capital P means perimeter of the base, and H equals the height. Now, if we're looking at a cylinder, surface area of a cylinder, it's basically the same formula. It's 2 times the area of the base. The problem is with the base is a circle. So capital B, which is area of the base, would be pi r squared. Okay, the capital B is dependent on what shape the base is. So the formula does change a bit depending on what the base looks like. Um, and since instead of perimeter with circles, we talk about circumference. So we're technically it's the same thing. The circumference or the perimeter of the base, but it's a circle, so it's circumference times the height. Okay. Capital B, area of the base. That is something you will see from here on out. So learn what that means. Area of the base. So let's look at some rectangular prisms. And let's use our formula that we just looked at. So we've got surface area equals 2 times capital B plus capital P times H. Okay, so let's look at this first one. S equals. Okay, so the base, we're going to assume the base is what it's sitting on. And the base is this rectangle right here. Okay, now I need to know capital B says area. It means area of the base. So what I need to know is what the area of that base is. Well, it's the length times the width of that base, right? 12 times 6, which is 72. Okay, plus now I need to know the perimeter of that same thing, the perimeter of the base. Well, it's 12. There's 4 sides to this, so it's 12 plus 12, which is 24, 6 plus 6, which is 12, 12 plus 24 is 36. So the perimeter of this rectangle is 36, times the height of the entire thing is 8. Now, all I need to do is solve this, so I'm going to multiply 2 times 72. That is going to give me 144. Then 36 times 8, that's going to give me 288. And if I add those together, that gives me 432. And since it's feet and it's area, we're talking about square feet. Okay? So basically what we have just found is the surface, is the area of all 6 surfaces on this box. The top area, the bottom area, the 2 sides, the front, and the back. There are 6 surfaces. We found the area of all of those surfaces and added them together, basically with the formula we just used. Okay? So let's look at the next one. I'm going to use, it's 2b, so it's 2 times area of the base. Well, that's 18 times 12. We're going to figure that out right now. 18 times 12. That is going to give us 216. Okay? Plus the perimeter of the base. Well, again, this rectangle is the base. So it's 18 plus 18, which is 36, and 12 plus 12, which is 24. And if you add 36 and 24, you get 60. So it's going to be the perimeter of that is 60. The height is 4. Now, let's multiply these together. That's going to be 432 plus 240. Right? So that's going to be 672, and that's centimeters squared. Okay, let's look at the last one. This is the base. Okay, so I'm going to multiply, I'm going to find the area of the base because I need capital B. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus, now I need the perimeter of the base. 5 plus 5 is 10, 4 plus 4 is 8, 10 plus 8 is 18. That's the perimeter of this rectangle down here. Multiply it by the height, and we're good. 2 times 20 is 40. Plus 4 times 18, that's going to be 72. Okay, 72 plus 40 is 112, and that is yards squared. Okay, that's the first set. Let's look at the next set of prisms. These are called triangular prisms because of the triangle that gives it its shape. So instead of a rectangular prism, we have a triangular prism. We use the same formula, but the formula's changed a bit because of the triangle. So we're going to use surface area equals capital B, sorry, let's go back here. Surface area equals 2 times capital B plus capital P times H. Now here's where we have difficulty with a lot of people. The base is not necessarily what it's setting on. The base is what gives the shape that we're talking about its name. This is a triangular prism, so what we have to look at as the base is the triangle. So this is the base. Even though it's setting on this rectangle here, this is actually the base. It's like putting something on its side. We're looking at it on its side. Okay, but the triangle in a triangular prism is always the base. So with this one, we need 2 times the area of the base. Well, if you remember, a triangle's area is found by 1/2 base times height. Okay, so I need to figure that out. So I've got 9, 3 times, it's base times height, 9 divided by 2, which is 4.5. I'm going to multiply that by 2, which will give me 9 when I do that. Plus, now the perimeter of the base is the perimeter of this rectangle. This is 3, this is 3, this has to be 7, it has to equal that. So 6 plus 7 is 13. Now the height, if this is the base and we actually set it on its base, this would be the height. Okay, this would be sticking straight up if this was on its base. So the height is 5. Okay, now I put 4, that's supposed to be 4.5 here. Okay, so this is equal to 2 times 4.5 is 9. 13 times 5 is 65. 65 plus 9 is 74, and that is meters squared because it's surface area. Okay, again, the hard thing about this is recognizing that the triangle is the base. Okay, for some reason, everybody has trouble with that for the most part. Okay, but the triangle is the base even though it's not setting on its base right now. It's setting on its side. Okay, so we want to find the area of the base. That's going to be base times height divided by 2. Well, 3 times 4. This is the height of the triangle. This is all you need. This is only for the area of this triangle. Okay, 4 times 3 is 12 divided by 2 is 6. I'm actually going to multiply that by 2. Plus, the perimeter of the base is this, 3. Now this is 5 right here, and this one is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 3 is 13. And the height, if we set this on its base, the height is 3. Okay? So 2 times 6 is 12. 13 times 3 is 39. 39 plus 12 is 51. And we've got 51 feet squared. Okay, that's triangular prisms. Let's look at cylinders. Okay, surface area of the cylinder, it's the same formula basically, 2 times area of the base, plus the perimeter of the base, which is called the circumference since it's a circle, times the height. Okay, so we're going to use pi with this. Okay, so it's 2 times. Now area is found, now the base is a circle. Even if it's laying on its side like this, the base is still the circle. Okay, this one's easy to see, the base is the circle. Okay, so it's pi r squared. We're given the diameter. Okay, so if we've got to take half the diameter to get r. Okay, so it's 2 times pi r squared. Well, half of 2.5 is 1.25, and we have to square that. Okay, so this is 2. Here's the 2 right here. Area of the base is pi r squared, which is right here. Okay, plus, now the circumference is found by multiplying pi times the diameter. Well, we got the diameter is 2.5, right? Okay, now the height of this structure is 5. Now all we have to do is multiply all this mess together and get an answer. So I'm going to multiply, actually I'm going to square 1.25. Okay, then I'm going to multiply that by 3.14. Then I'm going to multiply that by 2. And I'm going to, right now, I'm just going to keep it in 2 decimal places just to kind of give me a little more exact answer. Now here I'm going to multiply 3.14 times 2.5 times 5. And that gives me 39.25. Okay, so add that to 9.81 and we get 49.06. We're just going to round it to the nearest whole number. So 49 inches squared. Okay, essentially all we're doing is plugging numbers in and solving. Let's look at this one. Now the base, the area of the base, it's a circle. Even though it's laying on its side, it is a circle. So 2 times the area of the base. Well, that's pi r squared. Pi is 3.14. R is not 12, it's 6. It's half of this. And we got to square that. Plus, now the perimeter of the base is just the circumference, which is going to be 3.14 times 12, because that's a pi times the diameter gives us the circumference, and the height of the structure is 17. Now, let's multiply this out. So I've got 36 times 3.14 times 2. That gives me 226.08 plus 3.14 times 12 times 17. That gives me 640.56. Add those together. I get 866.64. I'm going to round that off to 867, and that is feet squared. Okay, that is how you handle cylinders. So we've seen the 3 structures we're going to see today. Now let's look at this last one. This is a challenge problem. Okay, but we want to find the surface area of this greenhouse. Okay, we're not going to look at the bottom. There's no real floor to it. Let's look into the outside. Now notice this greenhouse has rectangles along the bottom and a cylinder on top. Okay, so we're going to find the area of this little rectangle in the front, which is 8 times 12, okay, which is 96. So this is 96. But actually, there's one in the back just like this, okay? So it's got 2 of those. So the area for that would be 2 times 96, right? Okay, now let's look at the area of this side panel. Well, it's 25 by 8. Well, 25 times 8 is 200. This is 200. But notice there are 2 of these because there's one here and there's one on the other side. So that is actually going to be 2 times 200, right? For the area of those 2 panels. Now I need to find the cylinder. That gives us, this actually gives us, I'm sorry, let me do that in a second. This here gives us the area of these panels. We need to find the area of the cylinder. So we're going to use 2 times area of the base, which is pi r squared, 3.14. R is the radius, which is 5. That's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and square it and make it 25. Okay, 2 times area of the base, pi r squared, plus the perimeter of the base, which is pi times the diameter, or 2 times pi times the radius. In this case, we have the radius, so we will have 2 times 3.14 times 5, and we'll multiply it by the height of the cylinder, which is this thing right here, which is 25. Okay, so I've got 2 times 3.14 times 25. That gives us 157. Plus, okay, we've got 250 times 3.14, which gives us 785. Okay, 785 plus 157 equals 942. Now notice this is half a cylinder. This is for a full cylinder. So we have to divide it by 2. So we have half the surface area. This is going to be 471. Okay, so for the cylinder, it's 471. Okay, for let's see, for this, the front 2 panels, I've got 2 times 96, which is going to be 192. And for the side panels, I got 2 times 200, which is 400. Okay, so 471 plus 400 plus 192 gives us 1,063 square feet. There you go. If you can do that, you could do any problem in this section. And that is all for today.